the summer of 1986, audiences were treated to what many consider as one of the most macho movies that also had a lot of heart and a message that you can overcome your mistakes. So it's time to get back into the hot seat as we fly back into the danger zone. The inspiration for the movie came from the May 1983 issue of California Magazine with an article entitled Top Guns by Ehud Yoneh, with then Lieutenant Commander Charles Heater Heatley supplying aerial photography. It would go into detail the life of fighter pilots at Naval Air Station Miramar, San Diego, which was self-nicknamed Fighter Town, USA. The late director, Tony Scott, described this as combat sport for the Navy, with the way they would compete to be named as Top Gun. For me, this is arguably one of the best action drama movies. It has the sense of when to pile on the intensity of the situation, whether it's Maverick and Goose in the air, or the tension between Charlie and Maverick. And the movie doesn't waste any time in getting the tension started when Maverick assists in landing Cougar's plane when the man lost his nerve when Maverick and Goose were already low on fuel themselves. So, you get a huge sense of Maverick's character already, in that he is more than prepared to break the rules to save the life of another. A reckless character with character. In a similar vein, there is tension at the Top Gun school as the other pilots feel as though Maverick is a danger to his allies as much as his enemies in the air, particularly the run-ins with Iceman. Iceman had no problem telling it like it is with his disdain for Maverick's reckless flying skills. Always did feel like he left a cold reception with his talks. Come on now. You're all thinking it. The movie had a few quotable lines that people still use to this day, from Negative Ghost Rider and...
Because I was inverted.
There are so many jokes I could make out of this, and none of them would be PG. Don't lie to yourselves, you're all thinking it. And I'm sure everyone has quoted this at one time or another.
I feel the need for speed.
So, safe to say that your movie's good when you have a lot of quotable lines as opposed to quips that people will forget about after a few months. I like how they use Maverick's father as this mythic character of how the circumstances of his death were shrouded in mystery from Maverick until sidewinder reveals of what happened in the past, which allows Pete to have some closure and no longer chasing a ghost and trying to live up to what his late father had done in his career as a naval pilot. I see this movie acting as a metaphor in seeking redemption and the ability to let go of the ghosts of the past. Maverick is a complicated guy that uses his humor and showing off as a facade to hide how he's feeling over what happened to his father in the past, and allowing himself to be redeemed after Goose's tragic death in which his head smashed against the canopy as they tried to eject from a washout. 33 years on since the release of this picture, and I can come in fresh each time and be taken in by the decent pacing and writing. It's iconic for a reason. This is the movie that turned Tom Cruise into an international superstar as the youthful-looking Peter Maverick Mitchell. Cruise has a very likable charisma as Maverick. Even when he's acting like a complete ass, you can't help but love him with his infectious smile and his ability to make others smile. Anthony Edwards as Goose is pretty much the straight man to Maverick shenanigans, as well as that one guy who just wanted everyone to get along. It's a recurring theme in the movie where you see others get along with Goose like he's their best friend, but have others not so warm to his co-pilot. Kelly McGillis was an interesting love interest to play opposite Maverick, as here's someone who is very much by the book and calls Maverick out for his overzealous antics, and yet there's magnetism between them. I did like the classic motif of when he learns that she's the instructor for Top Gun after his flirting antics with her the night before, and knows there will be some embarrassment. 2 years after making his cinematic debut in the spy parody Top Secret, We see Val Kilmer making his iconic appearance as Lieutenant Iceman, which many have probably mimicked over the years with the way he chewed gum and the way he portrayed this character with this cool persona. The future Batman actor and voice actor for Kit in Knight Rider SG delivers a strong performance as a foil for Maverick's antics in the way he criticizes the pilot for his flying. James Tolkien was well known at this point for having played the intimidating Principal Gerald Strickland in 1985's Back to the Future, of which he would reprise in Part 2 3 years later. I got the impression that he just wandered off of the set of Back to the Future as Mr. Strickland and straight into the office of Commander Stinger, as they're essentially the same in regards to the way they speak and carry themselves. Only difference is one says slackers and the other curses more. Be that as it may, he delivers another fine performance and plays a good, motivating character for Maverick to aspire to do more. Meg Ryan plays a very small role as Carol, the wife of Goose. Carol has a very light and bubbly personality to where it's such a delight anytime she appears on screen. It was small roles like this that got her foot in the door in Hollywood before she got widespread acclaim in 1989's When Harry Met Sally, when she played opposite Billy Crystal. Taking into account that this is in the era before CG ruled the big screen to produce mind-blowing visuals as seen today from the Jurassic Park movies, the MCU, Man of Steel and Alita, Battle Angel, the movie made do with using practical effects by either having set pieces before a blue screen or having cameras mounted on the planes in order to get the perspective of what the pilots were seeing. And that was part of the fun of this flick, was feeling the motion that Maverick would do whenever he would twirl a plane or go inverted, with him extending his communications for foreign relations, which you can get as a t-shirt, and if you know what that's representing, kudos to you. The effects have aged exceedingly well where they keep you in the story. Harold Faltermeyer put together a great score along with an opening theme that just conjures up so many memories from fans' youth of when they first saw the movie, building the anticipation of what the audience could expect from the picture. This is reprised towards the end where a more rock and roll based version is placed in celebration of defeating the enemy, and it has such an infectious vibe that you can't help but feel like you're celebrating with them, as it has that effect on you. Accompanied by two iconic soundtrack numbers with Berlin's legendary Take My Breath Away, and arguably the song that people associate most with this movie is Highway to the Danger Zone by Kenny Loggins. This is Top Gun epitomized. This song tells you everything you need to know about this movie and the world of aviation fighter pilots. 33 years since Top Gun took to the skies at the box office, it has become a beloved favourite over time with not only official video games, but two parody movies from Charlie Sheen in Hot Shots and Hot Shots Part 2. It has been enjoyed by not only the original cinematic audience, but those that have watched it for decades on VHS, DVD, Blu-ray, to where fans that weren't even born in '86 can appreciate what many have loved for over 30 years. For me, and many others that saw it on TV for the first time back in the day, it was that sense of fun and escapism that you could just switch off for a few hours and enjoy some high-octane action. It had a great cast, great lines, rock and roll, but also this important message that you could overcome your fears and redeem yourself. And in 2020, the long-awaited sequel in Top Gun Maverick will grace the silver screen with Tom Cruise reprising his career-making role for the first time in over 30 years and seemingly aged very little since we last saw him as Maverick. So, what kind of place is Maverick going to be in next year? Who can say? A lot can happen in 33 years, but until then, we can relive the need for speed. I'm MJ Knight, and we went back to the danger zone for Top Gun. For me, this is arguably one of the best action drama movies. It has the sense of when to pile on the intensity of the situation, whether it's Maverick and Goose in the air, or the tension between Maverick and Charlie? That kind of attention. That's a good outtake. It's like, and Joey pops up. How you doing? Kaiju's like, why am I here? Because you, that's why? For me, this is arguably one of the best action drama movies. It has the sense of when to pile on the intensity of the situation, whether it's Maverick and Goose in the air, or the tension between Maverick and Charlie. So, safe to say that your movie's good when you have a lot of quotable lines as opposed to quips that people will forget about after a few months. Ooh, I'm sorry, did I say that out loud? Do it without the laughter. Cruise has a very likable charisma as Maverick, even when he's acting like an ass. You can't help but love him with his Doc? How did I get into a Top Gun movie? We got a goose, but we don't have a rabbit. Maybe you should join Elmer Fudd. Be very quiet. I'm hunting in the skies for rabbits. I have no idea how I'm gonna get this into the bloopers.